It's Jack from B&T MacFarlane. Today we're going over the Kubota KX033, so let's get into it. The KX033 has become one of the most popular excavators that we sell at this dealership over the past couple years. Landscapers love it, homeowners love it, and we're going to go into today why that is. There's a lot of reasons that make this excavator stand out from the rest and make it attractive for an excavator buyer, especially a mini excavator. So it sits in the perfect size where it's not too big that you can't fit into people's backyards, but it's also not too small where it limits you in the types of jobs that you're able to perform with it. So we're going to start up at the track system. One of the biggest reasons I think that the KX033 has become so popular is the form factor of it. It's a pretty narrow excavator. It's only 5 feet 1 inches wide, so it doesn't limit you if you have to fit into tighter backyards. I know here in Ottawa, the backyards are getting smaller and the spaces between the houses are getting smaller, so you can't have this big 8-ton machine, 6-ton machine that can fit through there anymore into people's backyards. So it's great if you need a really strong excavator to fit into those tight areas. And I know a lot of people that are doing bush clearing on their own personal property, they like this machine because it's not going to break the bank like a bigger 6 or 8-ton machine again. It's relatively affordable for all the machine that you get with it, and it's small enough if you need to fit in between trees into your own backyard, or if you're looking to play around on the weekend and have a kind of hobby tractor like that or excavator. Now we're going to talk about some of the performance specs of the KX033. So it has an impressive digging depth of 10 feet 6 inches, and it's the first excavator in Kubota's lineup that allows you to dump into a triaxle dump truck. It dumps at about 11 feet 7 inches, so a lot of people choose this if you have any kind of material clearing at the end of the day, or if you're a landscaper that needs to dump their material into a dump truck. So that's a huge advantage while choosing this excavator. We also send it with a hydraulic thumb that is controlled by a thumb switch inside of the operator's platform. And this coupler here, it keeps the same kind of theory of Kubota's wedge style coupler, where the pins of the excavator sit right at the pins of the bucket and where it attaches. So the breakout forces and the specs that you see in the spec sheets on the brochure are going to be exactly the same as the real world numbers. Where if you compare that to a pin grabber system, which you see in a lot of John Deere, Bobcat, Case excavators, it's going to have your pins for your excavator boom right here, and then the coupler is going to stick down like another 6-7 inches, so the breakout forces you see on the spec sheets won't exactly match up to what a real world application is. But the huge disadvantage of Kubota's standard coupler is that the buckets are only able to dig in one direction. So with a pin grabber, you can take the bucket and spin it around and dig reverse. So if you need to get up close to a house, or if you're in a situation that doesn't allow you to dig back towards yourself, you can flip that bucket around. But what Kubota has done with this new premium style quick attach coupler is you're able to use Kubota's same wedge style, but you can actually reverse the buckets around and dig in reverse. So you get the benefits of both Kubota's coupler in terms of the breakout forces and capacities, but you're able to actually spin this bucket around just as you would with the normal pin style coupler. We're going to talk a little bit about the lift capacity with this machine. A lot of landscapers that end up picking one of these up, the main thing they want to do is build armor stone walls. And I know those rocks, they can weigh anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 pounds. And this KX033 is one of the smallest machines in Kubota's lineup that allows you to pick up some of the armor stone that you would be working with. Right close to the machine, you're going to lift at about 2,100 pounds. And naturally, as you get further away from the machine, the lift capacity gets less and less. But this machine can comfortably lift between about 1,500 and 2,100 pounds. The KX033 sits inside of the KX series, believe it or not. So what it has is tail swing. So if you look at Kubota's excavator lineup, you're going to see U series models and KX series models. The U series models have zero tail swing or very tight tail swing. So when you swing the machine around, the rear end is not going to hang out outside the tracks, but you can clearly see here on the KX033 that when you swing the machine around, it hangs out over the side of the tracks. This has a huge advantage because the machine is able to be narrower but still have really good lift capacities with that front boom. The only time you wouldn't choose a KX series is if you have to work in really tight areas in between houses or in really tight backyards where you don't have a lot of space to actually swing around and have to worry about the rear end of your machine hitting somebody's house, hitting somebody's car, or somebody in general. And then that's when you would steer towards maybe a more U series model. You can see the panels on the 033 open up really nicely. So if you have to do any kind of field maintenance, get at the filters, get at the dipsticks, check your hydraulic pressures and all your test ports, it's really easy to do on the field. You don't have to unbolt any panels or take apart half the machine just to change the oil on it. So if you're about doing the service on your own, it makes it extremely easy with the KX033, like most Kubota excavators. But some things to note is it is a 25 horsepower Kubota diesel engine. So it does sit below 26 horsepower, so there's no emissions or regeneration or any kind of DPF or DEF fluid that goes with this engine. It's completely naturally aspirated as well. Now we're taking a look at the operator's platform inside of the KX033. You can get it in two different options. You can get it with a full cab that you see here, or you can get it in a ROPS or canopy model that would be open station. This is the first excavator that offers heat, air conditioning, and a radio, so you're able to get the fully enclosed cab. There are smaller cab options like on the KX018 and the U27, but those only come with heat. They don't come with air conditioning. And this cab, it also opens up just like a lot of the other Kubota construction equipment, opens up right over your head just like that. So if you have anybody working around the front of your excavator, you can easily lift this up and talk to them and tell them whatever you need to say in front of you. There's also a glass sunroof here. It's not a sunroof like you would see on your vehicle, but since this machine can dump so high, you can lift the boom all the way up in the air and actually see what you're doing above the excavator. Other than that, it's a pretty standard operator's platform here from Kubota. You do have the foot controls for the movement, which is really nice. So whenever you're operating your machine, you can actually move the machine without having to take your hands off of the controls, which I know a lot of people like. The blade, it also has a float function on it as well. So if you take your blade controls and push it all the way into the ground, it'll release the pressure from that blade and follow the curve of the ground. So if you're doing any kind of backfilling of the trench that you just made, it'll make it a lot easier for you. If you're looking to pick one of these up, we actually have a decent amount of stock on the cab model, and we have a lot of stock on the canopy model. So if you're not interested in getting a machine with a cab, you can definitely stop by and we can talk about some numbers on some ROPS models and some cabbed models. And as always, I just want to thank you guys for watching. And if you're enjoying the videos, remember to like and subscribe. And if you need help with parts, sales, or service, give us a call at 613-225-0555. Thank you.